The NTSB from the Columbus Airport, where they will be providing an update on the crash that happened earlier today in Licking County. Here is the update.
Hammondy, and I'm chair of the National Transportation Safety Board. With me today is our investigator in charge, Kenny Bragg. In total, we have or will have 16 personnel here as part of the investigation. That includes 9 investigators and 2 NTSB personnel that are part of our Transportation Disaster Assistance Team, which works with the families and survivors after significant events. Speaking of the families and survivors, I do want to take a moment before I continue and just say to the families and survivors that our hearts go out to you. For those who lost loved ones, our deepest condolences, and for others that were injured, just know that we are praying for a full recovery. So the National Transportation Safety Board is an independent federal agency charged by Congress with investigating significant crashes. We were notified at some point mid-morning that there was a crash at 8:15 a.m. this morning involving a motor coach that was operated by Pioneer Trails. That motor coach was transporting 57 passengers from Tuscarawas Valley Local School District to an Ohio School Boards Association conference in Columbus. The motor coach was traveling westbound on I-70 near Etna. Behind the motor coach was an SUV carrying passengers that were traveling with the group in the motor coach. They had approached a traffic queue that resulted from an earlier crash on I-70, and a tractor trailer approached behind the SUV. We have heard conflicting information about the sequence of events, so that's something we'll have to determine tomorrow. But we do know that at least 5 vehicles were involved. The 3 vehicles I mentioned, the motor coach, SUV, and the commercial motor vehicle, and at least 2 vehicles in front of the motor coach, another passenger vehicle, and another commercial motor vehicle. I do want to take a second and give our thanks to the Ohio State Highway Patrol. The Highway Patrol has been an incredible resource. They have an incredible team, and I just want to say thank you, and we really look forward to continuing to work with you throughout this investigation. Now, we just arrived, so I don't have a lot of information to share. What I will tell you is tomorrow morning we will begin with an organizational meeting, and then we will go to the scene of the crash where we'll begin our investigative process. Tomorrow afternoon I will have an update for you all. We'll probably have a press conference somewhere around 4 o'clock. Please monitor ntsb.gov and our social media. X, formerly known as Twitter, will have a tweet up on when our next press conference is. So with that, I will take any questions that you have. If you wouldn't mind sharing your name and your affiliation. The question is, will the investigation of the scene delay the road opening or repair? It should not delay in this crash. We can work around any sort of traffic, but it shouldn't delay the reopening or repair, not to my knowledge. The question is, how long will the investigation take? Typically, for these type of events, our investigation will be 12 to 18 months. However, In the next few weeks, we will issue a preliminary report. It's usually about 10 days after we leave the scene. We'll be on scene about 5 to 7 days. We'll issue a preliminary report which contains the factual information. It will not include analysis. That comes later. After we leave the scene, well, let me first address what we're doing on scene. What we're doing on scene is collecting the perishable evidence. We're looking for cameras that may have been in motor vehicles or the motor coach. We'll want to look at, determine what the sequence of the event was. We'll want to determine if there was hazmat in any of the commercial motor vehicles. We'll want to look at where the injuries were in the motor coach. So there's a lot that we will gather on scene. Other information that we'll need as part of the investigation will get collected after we leave, after the on-scene phase of the investigation. One thing I will also mention, aside from the preliminary report and the final report, is that any time during the investigation, we can issue urgent safety recommendations. If we see there is an urgent need to issue something to certain entities or industry-wide, we will not hesitate to issue safety recommendations. We've done that many times, and we would do that this time if we believe there is more of a systemic safety issue or something that we need to get out. Any other questions? All right, great. Again, please monitor our social media for press conference. I would look for it about 4 o'clock tomorrow. We want to have the most amount of information available for you so you can report to the public as well. Thank you.
All right, so that is the latest from the NTSB. We learned at least there that they were, when the crash happened, they were near-ish some form of traffic. When they had hit that point, that's when the crash happened ultimately. Now, I want to play an interview earlier today that we did with the American Red Cross about the efforts that they have in this. Now, they're trying to help coordinate with disaster relief efforts, things like that, but also making sure that enough blood is with the victims here. And they broke down exactly how much has been needed and what you can do if you're looking to help. To kind of start off here, if you don't mind, explain the efforts that the Red Cross is doing here related to this bus crash that happened earlier today.
Yeah, so this morning we got a call from the Licking County EMA officials notifying us about the accident and asking us to assist them in setting up a reconnection site there in Licking County at the United Methodist Church, where everything has been happening this morning. So we touched a base with the church officials, worked with the EMA there, and got that site set up ahead of the students being brought over from the accident. And then around 11-ish is whenever the buses started bringing the students over from the accident to the church to try to get their bearings, to try to give them a place to just be in private and be able to gather their thoughts and their feelings as their parents were being notified what was happening, being sent the address to come to. So we helped provide the space for that. The Tuscarora Valley District helped. They did all the facilitation of the reconnections. They also brought in their own counselors. We had our Red Cross disaster mental health counselors around. Should they even needed, they were there to help. But the school itself pretty much handled a lot of they handled the reconnections and they handled the mental health. We were just there to provide space and help provide snacks. And, whenever something really bad happens, sometimes just having a good place to sit down and a bag of chips can help for at least 5 minutes. And, we were trying to provide that. In addition to, there were multiple people taken to hospitals around the area. And we provided at least 30 units of blood to the Mount Carmel Hospital here around where the accident happened. I don't know if we got any more requests in for extra blood. If it came through, I didn't get told about that. But we sent 30 units of blood there in the immediate aftermath. That's the blood that was already on the shelves because people donated in the past week or so. So, little steps here and there to just assist in a very tragic situation where our hearts truly go out to everyone impacted by this.
Yeah, it's the quick reaction of comfort, I feel like, that is drastically needed. You mentioned the blood here. There's a couple of things I want to hit on, but let's start with the 30 units of blood there. We've covered this a lot, particularly speaking with all of you at the Red Cross. The need for blood has been consistent, and the need for donations has been consistent. In a situation like this, when it is such an intense situation and you need 30 units, I mean, how impactful is that? And for reference for people, I mean, 30 units of blood does seem like a lot. Is that a lot? Is that should that be seen as a lot?
It is a lot. I mean, it is, it's a substantial amount. That is, in blood terms, that's around 30 different people donate, you know? Um, and in most situations, there's a lot of blood that is sent to hospitals on the daily, on a regular occurrence. But this was, a situation where 30 extra units were requested by the hospital. And, it comes from that blood on the shelves. It comes from the fact that people are making time in their normal day-to-day life to donate, not not seeing an accident happening, not seeing a tragedy occurring. They're just donating because they know it's the right thing to do. And we're just now coming out of a shortage nationally, and it's not we're not in the clear 100%. There's always going to be a need for blood, especially as we get closer to the holidays. People get busy, people don't have time to donate. So we're gonna make the push once again. Hey, if you've got time, if you got the ability, if you can give blood, please visit redcrossblood.org. Use your Red Cross Blood Donor app, or call 1-800 Red Cross and find an appointment near you and donate, because you never know if it's going to be your friends, your family, your loved ones, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, your whatever, that are involved in a situation like this, and they might need the blood on maybe one of the worst days of their life.
Yeah, that's I think important to break down here. Yeah, this isn't people that just rush today to do it. This is the preventative and the main reason why you ask people to do these donations here. So if there are people that are going to end up watching this and they say, hey, I want to donate blood here, that wouldn't necessarily get right to the scene. Is that right? It takes a little bit before the blood that you give gets to any of the places?
Correct. Every donation has to go through the manufacturing facility here in Columbus, where I am based out of. Um, the my office is 2 floors above the facility where every single blood donation for the region, and a lot that comes from the Cleveland area will come down. We even get blood from Michigan. We try not to mix it in with the Ohio blood, but sometimes that happens. It's just, we bring it all in together and it gets processed here, and it takes a little bit of time before that donation. If you donate today, seeing this happen, your donation will help somebody in the coming weeks. So it's, you know, we hope that anyone who sees this is inspired to give. Just know that your donation isn't going to help the people who are hurt today, but it's going to help somebody else. And at the end of the day, that's what really matters, is just helping someone with your donation.
Don, you had mentioned the establishment of that reunification site pretty early on here. We heard from the governor a couple hours ago. He mentioned that reunification site. How much interaction is there between Red Cross, local, state, I mean, these officials, to try and make sure that everybody is coordinated and to know exactly where you're helping to set this up and exactly what help you can provide?
Yeah, I mean, it's a constant stream of communication and coordination with everything. I was actually outside when the governor's motorcade pulled up, and he came in, spent some time there, and spoke to the families. And it's a constant stream of everyone checking in with each person in each contact for that. We had the local EMA officials there with us. We had the health services folks from Licking County there. We had the state troopers. We had the local sheriff's departments. There were so many different organizations represented in that small space that it was kind of mind-boggling, because I've been in this job for a little bit now, and I've been to a few different disaster situations and different situations where these kind of facilities are set up, and just seeing the coordination and everyone, there's no rank there. It is, everyone is on the same team. Everyone is the same level in those moments. And it's just every single person from all these different organizations coming together to try to make sure that the people that are having one of the worst days of their lives have it go a little smoother than it had. Whatever brought them there is smoothed out and hopefully made better.
Don, the last question that I have for you is related to how people can help and how people can help the Red Cross in this. Where do you want us to send people? Where do you suggest people go to if they do want to offer assistance at a time like this?
Obviously, the blood donations are always going to be a big thing. The blood on the shelves, blood on the shelves, the blood on the shelves. We're going to hammer it in. Every interview you hear with a Red Cross person, they'll tell you that every day. And those 3 easy ways to donate: redcrossblood.org, 1-800-RED CROSS. And if you have the Red Cross Blood Donor app, you can sign up for a donation, for an appointment to make a donation through any of those, and that'll be greatly appreciated, and it'll help someone. A lot of the folks from our side that were working today were volunteers. You can visit redcross.org and go to the volunteer tab on the website there and sign up to become a volunteer. You might be going to you might be one of our DAT team, disaster action team response people that goes out after a fire and helps a family or apartment complex full of people after a fire ravages the building. There are mental health specialists that are volunteers that have some kind of background in helping people in that way. We need those kind of volunteers. We need any kind of volunteer. If you have the time and you have any kind of ability, and even if you don't have ability, we can train you. But if you have the time and you want to make a better impact in your community, you can volunteer with us. You visit redcross.org and find out how to volunteer from there.
So, of course, head to our website at cleveland19.com for the latest on this and the other stories of the day. Our 19 newscast tonight, 10 o'clock CW, 11 o'clock CBS, is going to be very extensive, breaking down this crash. So we'll see you there. For now, I'm Jeff Slauson with 19 News. Have a great night. Much more to come, both on air and online.
19 News, now streaming on Samsung Smart TV. Search for Channel 103.